Today we are going to use Adobe Photoshop to redesign our app logo. Adobe Illustrator may not have all the functionalities to edit our logo, and at times may require you to use plugin. We are going to export our Illustrator file into Photoshop file format. So open your Illustrator file, go to File menu, select Export as. In the pop-up, select file type as Photoshop, that is .psd file, then click Export. On the next pop-up, make sure Write to layers is selected. This is to export all layers individually. If other options as they are in my screen, and click OK. You check the location you selected. You see your logo in Photoshop file. Double click to open. As a rule of thumb, anytime you edit your work, make sure you save. This will prevent you from losing all the updates done on the file, which otherwise would require you to redo the whole file again. So open the file in Photoshop to start editing. If you get a pop-up to update the file, click Update. We will adjust our logo into 3D and change a few settings. You are however free to play with all the settings as you are in the running process. Try to make a unique logo. Initially in Adobe Illustrator, we created a 3D illusion by duplicating our text. This time we'll be using Photoshop 3D settings directly. Expand the open layers panel. If yours is not open, check the Windows menu, then tick layers option. First, let's disable the 3D text illusion we created in Adobe Illustrator by disabling a copy of our letter. Click on the icon that looks like the eye to disable. We are now ready to transform our text into 3D object. Select the layer with the text you want to convert into 3D. On the menu, select 3D, then new 3D extrusion from selected layer. Now you have your 3D text. We repeat the same process for the other texts. If you look at your right, you'll notice a new panel for the 3D settings, which you can use to adjust the text. We use rotate, move, and scale options. I'll also play with the depth. For the sake of running, adjust settings to have a different logo from the one I've created. That way you'll be running. So now the file is ready for export to Adobe XD. Go to File, then Export, then quick export as PNG. Open the exported file, copy and paste onto Adobe XD. So we delete the previous logo created with Adobe Illustrator and replace with the logo from Adobe Photoshop. Resize to fit the logo section. Something to note, you can design the whole UI in Photoshop, but that will be tedious. You can also design the logo straight from Photoshop alone and export to Adobe XD. We will be doing that tutorial in near future in another graphic design course, so keep tuned. If you look at our UI, you can also redesign the buttons, you can also redesign the background. I'd like to leave this as assignment. Follow the same process we did with our logo. That is, export the buttons, import into Adobe Photoshop, remove the text. Instead of the text, add an icon. Use gradient. Also, if you double click on each layer, try to use those options. In the next tutorial, I'll be going over the whole process for redesigning each buttons. So keep tuned. and also make sure you follow the same process. We'll be comparing what you have with what we create. It's important to know that it is the design process that produces the list of UI elements used in the apps. Most of the apps and the games you see, there is a designer who did all those designs. They use the same process we have gone through, even for games. They do the sketch, use various softwares to design the UI elements and also players, and export into a software they'll be using for coding. So to get these UI elements, either you follow the same process we have done. You can either design yourself, as we have done, or get a freelancer from any of the freelancing sites. I will leave a link in the description and also in the resource section. Be sure to check what other designers over. You can also learn from their designs. If you have understood the process by now, you can create any UI elements from mobile app or even games. At this point, you're now ready to start a freelancing career as a UI designer. If you look across the Fiverr, you find so many freelancers offering their gigs in this field. They are making passive income by selling their gigs. Be sure to check my tutorial on freelancing, learn how to create gigs on various platforms where you can sell now your new skills you have learned. As promised, these tutorials and all my tutorials are hands-on training where you learn by doing. My goal is to help you start earning even before you complete this series.